What makes a brand identity truly brilliant, and what can we learn by looking at some of the best in class? That's what we're going to explore today by looking at some award-winning identity designs. Let's go! Hello friends, my name is Matt Brunton. I'm a designer from the north of England, and today we're going to be looking at D&AD 2021 award-winning brand identities. Now, why do we look at other works? Well, of course, it's to shamelessly copy, to rip them off and just pass it off as our own. Maybe not. I think a better reason would be to be inspired. Yes, people say that, but what does that mean? Well, we need to become aware of industry standards. What are people doing in our field? How do they present their work? What applications have they considered? And it's also a great way to learn design, to learn anything by looking at the masters. If you're a musician, of course you need to know some theory about notation perhaps, reading music, intervals, but also you will listen to great music. You'll listen to Bach, Mozart, Beethoven, and I guess the Beatles and Radiohead. These greats inspire us to what is possible, and they open us to new avenues, and we remix it and we reapproach it with our own twist. We're creative people, so we're not here to slavishly copy, but we're here to bring our own ideas. So the key is to take inspiration from many sources, not just one. And when we look at great works, try to reverse engineer and learn about design by understanding the process. The more design principles that we understand, the clearer we can see in great work how they have been applied, and it deepens our knowledge of design. So let's jump in and have a look at some of this work. D&AD Pencil award-winning work for this year. Let's go. The first one I want to look at is Mojang Studios, who are the creators of Minecraft. And what I love about this work is that it's appropriate to the client. So they're best known for creating this game where you build things, and that whole concept has been reflected in the identity without just slavishly copying the same style as Minecraft. There's this brilliant art-directed brand video that they've produced here in a film studio. The production design is excellent. They have built this strange contraption, this weird machine here that conveys so many elements of the brand. There's so much detail in here. You see the bits of Minecraft going into it, and it tells you that it's all about fun, and it shows them working here in InDesign on the identity, and that whole idea of behind the scenes construction, building something is what you do in the game, and they're showing that in the identity design too, but again without copying the same style. They've created this unique style which relies on this these glyphs that they've created for the characters that look quite blocky, and the whole grid from Minecraft has been used to create these glyphs that are part of the word mark. They've 3D printed them. This is just super cool. It evokes a whole vibe, and I absolutely love this. They've really seen this through with a lovely color scheme. It relies on this red with black, whites, and grays, but then they do also bring in a little bit of these purples and yellows and stuff. You could see that a little bit more on the video. Very, very cool how they've carried this through consistently. Cut this lovely typeface, which again has this sort of blocky feel, but is also a lovely modern sans. Lovely applications. This is a great thing to notice. Watch the applications and the way that an identity design system is shown to be flexible. They've created merch here. They've even built a reception desk. If you're not building a reception desk out of your identity design, what are you playing at? This is very legit. So I love this. Thank you. You're welcome. Thanks for sharing. And this is the before. I think we can say it's definitely better after. They had this weird, it looks like fingers pinching or something, but they're on fire. I don't know what that is, but the after is a really strong word mark. Lovely work there from Bold NOA. Never heard of them? Agency from Sweden. Good work. The next project is Tripadvisor, and this is a big one. You surely know Tripadvisor, right? This is a high profile rebrand. This has been entered by Mother, who are a well-known design agency in the United States. And like a lot of rebrands, what they've done is they've simplified the icon, the symbol, the logo, and they've kept the recognizable owl binoculars thing, and they've simplified it, and they've carried through the circle element all the way through the identity into the interface, the user interface design, and into this custom typeface that they've cut for the word mark, but that they also use for all the identity work. So they've got a whole range of weights and italics here. Lovely typeface, lovely work, great color scheme, much more unique, much more ownable by Tripadvisor compared to what they had before. And I love how they've carried this all the way through. The illustrations all are consistent with the shapes and the color scheme, and it just gives a real fun, playful, inviting feel to it, but very professional. Look at the professional details. The stroke weights are married up from the icons to the type. This is lovely detail, and this is what a professional, very legit identity design looks like. So that's the level. So really nice work here from Mother on Tripadvisor. Check that one out, and we'll leave links to all these projects in the description. The next one is OneFootball, and this one a graphite pencil simply for the logo. This is by Design Studio in London, and this simply does what a logo should do. It's simple, it works, it identifies this brand, OneFootball. You can read the number 1. Next to it, the solid black circle represents a football, and together it looks like a footballer kicking the ball with the leg bent at the knee, ready to strike. It does the job. You can imagine how good this looks on a simple little social media avatar, how they could animate it, mask it. It's a solid logo, so nice work there, Design Studio. The next project is Hackney Church, and this one a wood pencil for branding, and I think this is a brilliant example. I'm actually going to show you on the agency's website, which is OMSE, a small agency in London. And what I think is brilliant about this is this client may not seem like the most exciting client, a church, a religious institution. We think of something that's quite traditional, quite everyday. But what they have done is, by clever thinking and a smart approach and really considering the audience, they've been able to elevate this to the level of award-winning work. And it's easy for us to think that, oh, maybe the projects I'm working on aren't that great. When I'm working for like a huge fashion brand, then I'll be able to win awards and do great work and be really proud of my portfolio. But OMSE have shown that you can take the project that you have and elevate it with your creativity. I love that. Look at this. They've taken the shape, the geometry that is within the building, and from it created a symbol. And for the church and for the other activities they have a brewery, they have a bakery, they keep bees, they have a lighthouse. This is a bizarre organization, but I love it. And they've done a cracking job here with this whole system. And it's very appropriate for the context. Now, if you don't know East London, this is like the hippest part of the hippest city in the world, right? Hackney includes Hackney itself and Shoreditch, and they're really cool areas where there's a real mix of artists and young people, and it's close to the city of London. And it's just a great place to be. It's a total vibe. And they have reflected that in their work. And I think that is brilliant. These people look like they're actually from East London, which I think is really cool. And they've created this whole merch line, a church with merch. That is bizarre and also rhymes, but it's an amazing job. They've created different applications here for the website, for children. There's this whole 3D characters that they've designed. This is just very, very clever how they've built all these applications up all the way through, and it creates this whole identity design all the way through. You can see the arch, and you can see the way they've used typography with this serif and sans that work together, and it's a really pleasing solution. So hopefully that inspires you, even if perhaps you think my clients aren't the ones that I want, whatever client you've got, if you work with them, if you can show them how your creativity can elevate what they do, you can bring about a great result. Although, to be fair, this church has its own brewery, so that is fairly legit, and these beer cans are really nice. So great work there, OMSE. And the final one I want to look at today is the San Francisco Symphony, and they want a yellow pencil Collins. Collins are one of the biggest design agencies in the United States. They do incredible work. They want a yellow pencil for this logo, and the logo itself, you think, okay, it's a nice looking serif. It's kind of interesting how all the characters are different sizes, but the real genius of this is the dynamic logo. So if you see here, this thing animates, and it really conveys the feeling, even without any audio, of a symphony orchestra. The huge dynamics that you get when an orchestra plays in a concert hall, the quiet, the loud, the expression, the low frequencies, the high frequencies, you get a sense of this. Now, I've done quite a bit of work in music, and it's really easy to get into the classic tropes of like sound waves and musical notation and representations of instruments, and it's very cliche, and they've managed to avoid that here. They also won a graphite pencil for the whole brand, and again, this looks a little bit better on their website. So let's have a look on the Collins website, and you can see here some of the applications, how it works in signage, posters. Again, this expressive type with these wild italics and different sizes are used for short titles and short headlines, but where legibility would become a problem in this detail poster, they have constrained themselves to using the same point size for the type and been really clever with the mixture of this expressive type and just really nice grid layouts for the information. So this is a great combination. Got to remember that symphonies, orchestras are premier cultural institutions for any city. This is high culture, so they've made sure to do something that is elegant, that is appropriate for this. It's something that's traditional, it's an institution, but at the same time they wanted to modernize it, and I think they've done that really effectively. Again, nice color palette that introduces, we saw how well it worked in black and white, but they also have introduced some nice colors, some quite interesting range of colors to again suit the amount of expression that can come into music. So I think this is fantastic work. Really, really top drawer stuff, beautiful layouts, clever applications, lovely signage, really nice typeface. This very cleverly cut, distinctive, lovely elements here. And one final thing is this app. They've built some, I don't even know how these things work, but they've basically built their own software to generate this type so that the client can create all different types of versions of headlines through this little app, which is super cool. And this is a whole future for identity design. So if you're interested in being on the cutting edge and being really useful and really employable, then leaning into this software element and coding and being able to create expressive identities that the client can even generate, that is a really burgeoning area in design. So maybe something to look into. Really, really top drawer work. So well done, Collins. So hopefully these identity design projects have inspired you for your own. Let us know down in the comments which one was your favourite and why. What was so good about it? Make sure you subscribe for more design tips and check out in the description links to all these projects so you can browse them at your leisure, and the Flux Academy programs. These will really help you level up as a designer and create work that you are truly proud of. We'll talk to you soon. Happy designing.